welcome tonight. Australia, New Zealand and some Asian countries welcome the new year 2024 with fireworks as President Bola Tinubu is set to address Nigerians on Monday morning. 3 killed in fresh Plateau attack as Minister of State for Defense Bello Matawalle and the country service chiefs visit Plateau State. Experts review performance of key sectors in the year 2023 at Channels Television's special end-of-the-year program, Year of Transition. And after 52 years on the throne, Denmark's Queen Margrethe II announces shock abdication in New Year's Eve speech. We begin with the countries that have already welcomed the year 2024. Auckland in New Zealand was the first city to usher in the new year. This was soon followed by Sydney in Australia. Parts of Asia, China, Japan and North and South Korea, Myanmar and the Cocos Island are also among the latest countries to enter into the new year, as have Thailand, Vietnam and Indonesia.
New Zealanders were amongst the first in the world to celebrate the arrival of 24 with fireworks display in Auckland. The fireworks show from Auckland's 328-metre-tall Sky Tower was accompanied by laser light and animation show. It lasted 5 minutes with 500 kilograms of pyrotechnics launched from the tower, with the Auckland Harbour Bridge also illuminated. The Australian city of Sydney welcomed 2024 with a dazzling fireworks display featuring silver and gold pyrotechnics to commemorate the Opera House's 50th anniversary. The 12-minute spectacle included 36,000 shooting effects featuring comets, mines and cross sets, and 13,000 aerial shells including serpent, Saturn ring and horsetail willow shells. Over in Asia, Hong Kong welcomed 2024 with a New Year's Eve fireworks display over Victoria Harbour. And last but not least, in Taiwan, there were spectacular fireworks from the Taipei 101 Tower as the clock struck midnight. The display around the landmark skyscraper, standing at 508 meters, lasted for 300 seconds and included more than 16,000 explosions, while for the first time incorporated Japanese fireworks. Held for the first time in 2003, the Taipei 101 fireworks display has become one of the most watched events on television in Taiwan and is known for drawing a huge crowd of spectators to the streets every year.
Here in Nigeria, it's still a few hours to welcome the new year, but Nigerians will also be looking forward to the president's broadcast to the nation at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Your award-winning channels television will bring you the president's broadcast live on all our platforms. Meanwhile, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, has given his assurance that Nigerians will see a difference with the implementation of the 2024 budget. He gave this assurance when speaking with journalists after visiting President Bola Tinubu in Lagos.
We received the budget proposal 1st of December, and we need to work extra hard, extra hard. No weekends, no breaks. Even during Christmas, we had to work to ensure that we were able to deliver the budget we promised Mr. President before the end of the year. So it's a lot of sacrifice put into that work, but to God be the glory, we were able to deliver, and we delivered well. We expected to deliver because there is no sector that we didn't cross-check, we didn't scrutinize, we didn't make inquiries as to what it requires for it to make the desired impact to the economy and to the people. So I assure you, by the time the 2024 appropriation is signed into law and we start implementing it, Nigerians will see the difference. This is a budget that is going to define in a very big way the Tinubu administration to the people of this country.
Also today, the president met with the governors of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule, and his Niger State counterpart, Umar Bago, at his residence in Lagos. Governor Sule told newsmen that he discussed the recent attacks in Plateau State and developments in the region with the president. Governor Bago, on his part, said he explained the importance the state government plays on food security to the president.
As you know, I'm also the chairman of the North Central Governors Forum. So I think Mr. President himself wanted to know a little bit about some of the things happening in our own zone, including issues in Plateau. So it was an issue for our discussion. And as you know, also, on the day I traveled, I saw Mr. President, and he gave me assignment on the lithium projects in our state. So I used the opportunity to return the complete information about what he asked for. So he's very concerned about what is happening on the plateau and what is happening in the northeast, in the northwest, and especially in the north central. And these are issues of high concern. In fact, some of the north central governors are coming along with me. On Tuesday, we are going to Plateau. We are going to use the opportunity also to talk to some.
Yes, definitely. Niger State has provided itself as a pilot state for all these agro initiatives of Mr. President. The food security is a priority in this government, and that we have just told the President that we are very, very much ready in 2024 from January 1st to hit the ground running. We have secured over 1 million hectares of land now across the 25 local government, and we'll start preparing this land, and I'm sure before the next rainy season, would have over 250,000 prepared. And we've also informed him about the irrigation investment we have got in irrigation so that we can farm all year through in Niger State.
To security now, 3 persons have reportedly been killed in another attack by assailants in Durbi village of Shere District, Jos East local government area of Plateau State. The Transition Implementation Committee chairman, Mr. Marcus Nyam, told Channels Television that the attackers invaded the village on Saturday night and killed a father and his son. He revealed that efforts of the vigilantes to repel the attack resulted in the death of one of the attackers while others fled. Meanwhile, officers of the Joint Security Task Force Operation Safe Haven also responded to the distress call from the community, which also prevented the attackers from causing more harm. This attack is coming on the heels of the death of over 195 persons in the Christmas Eve attacks on Bokos and Barkinladi local government areas of the state. Meanwhile, the Minister of State for Security, Bello Matawalle, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Dr. Betta Edu, and service chiefs today visited some of the communities that were affected in last week's attack on the Plateau for on-the-spot assessment, as well as ensure that adequate security is provided for the possible return of displaced families to their ancestral homes. The minister urged the people to live in peace and harmony with each other and assured of government's determination to apprehend and prosecute perpetrators of the heinous acts, while the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation expressed government concerns to return those displaced back to their lands. Still talking security, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, says more troops have been deployed to Plateau State after the deadly attacks which left almost 200 people dead. General Lagbaja notes that the Army has reeled out its plans for the year 2024 for Plateau State and sending more equipment to enhance the efficiency of the troops. He was speaking on Channels Television's end-of-year program 2023, Year of Transition.
December 24th, 25th attack on some communities in Bokos and Barrack in Ladi local government areas. It's unfortunate. The troops have been directed to redouble their efforts to ensure that whatever gaps that exist in their deployments are adequately covered. We have made promises of injecting more troops, more combat enablers, and even working in synergy with other security agencies to prevent such occurrences going forward. The troops that we are deploying to Plateau, they are on their way to Plateau now. And this night or first light tomorrow, they should be on the Plateau. We are sending more equipment to enhance the efficiency of the troops. The military is, the Nigerian army is the people's army. It is organized, secure, funded with public funds to protect lives and property. And when we have a situation where people freely carry and use arms, then it becomes a lawless state. But we have enjoined the people of Plateau that they should work in synergy with the military. They should report incidents. They should assist the military with information so that the military can respond as quickly as possible. But to have a situation where people carry arms openly, I do not subscribe to that.
In part two, after the break, Ogoni residents welcome resumption of oil production in their communities 30 years after it was suspended. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of the main stories. Australia, New Zealand and some Asian countries welcome the year 2024 with fireworks as President Bola Tinubu is set to address Nigerians on Monday morning. 3 killed in fresh Plateau attack as Minister of State for Defense Bello Matawalle and the country's service chiefs visit Plateau State. Experts review performance of key sectors in the year 2023 at Channels Television's special end-of-the-year program, Year of Transition. And after 52 years on the throne, Denmark's Queen Margrethe II announces shock abdication in New Year's Eve speech. To support small businesses in the wake of the removal of fuel subsidy, describing the potential impact as insignificant. Mr. Rouhani, while speaking on our end-of-year program 2023 Year of Transition, asked the government to implement practical and lasting solutions to the economic problems plaguing the country and ensure that general output is increased in various sectors.
In reality, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? So the reality is that 75 billion naira, or let's even double it, make it 150 billion naira, in a 200 trillion naira economy, the impact, the materiality is insignificant. The reality is that you must be practical and it must have an impact. The central bank governor was very clear. The primary goal of this leadership is to maintain price stability. The way to maintain price stability is to bring interest rates higher, there will be intervention programs, but the total impact of those intervention programs scattered all over the place will not change the economy. You need investments, right? And investments are a function of savings. Savings are a function of interest rates. So you cannot, on one hand, mobilize savings, which be channeled into investments, at the same time, provide facilities at 1/3 the rate of inflation. Inflation is at 30%. So you can't make omelette without breaking eggs. The reality is that there's a time for this. There will be intervention programs to subsidize subsidize productivity and increased output. But the discussion on May 29 was subsidies are gone, right? Exchange rate subsidy, cost-reflective tariff subsidies, and petrol and diesel subsidies are gone. Now, you begin to give people, you subsidize production in certain areas and make sure that output increases.
Meanwhile, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Job Creation and SMEs, Timilola Adekunle-Johnson, says that by the end of January 2024, micro, small and medium enterprise owners will be able to apply for loans with a 9% from the Bank of Industry. Mr. Adekunle-Johnson was also speaking on the program, says the Tinubu administration is committed to creating an enabling environment for small businesses in Nigeria.
If you check all Mr. President's trips abroad, or even in Nigeria, he tries to chip it in that he is strongly in search of an environment that will be seamless for small business owners to thrive. I mean, it is a no-brainer that we have to create such an environment for our businesses. If not, then we have no business being a nation. Our small businesses must be able to operate on their own. All they need is government's support. So you create the enabling environment for them to survive as a business or as businesses. And that is why in January, before the end of January, MSMEs across the country will now have access to a single-digit loan, a 9% single-digit loan from the Bank of Industry. It means that you can go into the Bank of Industry across the country and get access to a loan. It is a single-digit loan. And we are trying to ensure that this is sustainable. We do not want to start this, and 6 months down the line, it's not sustainable. There is also the 75 billion naira Bank of Industry fund. It is their own fund. What they have done for us is that they've said federal government is giving out 75 billion on its own to SMEs in the manufacturing industry and in other sectors. They are also giving out 50,000 naira to nano businesses. They've provided 50 billion to those ones. They are saying what we can do to support the government is we have our own fund. We are going to ensure we give it at 9% flat rate to SMEs, 75 billion. By the end of 2024, we want sustainable single-digit loans to be a thing. We want it to be the norm amongst both commercial banks and federal government and government financial institutions.
To politics now, and one of the key players in the Rivers political crisis and the speaker of one of the groups, Edison Ehie, has resigned his position both as a member and speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Mr. Ehie, in the notice of resignation dated December 29, 2023, and addressed to the INEC chairman, thanked his colleagues and constituents for their support, but however stopped short of giving any reasons for his resignation. The Rivers State House of Assembly has been mired in a political imbroglio which led to the removal of Mr. Ehie from his position as leader of the House. He was also suspended alongside 3 others. In a swift response, however, Ehie's group banded together and elected him as a parallel speaker, with the governor subsequently recognizing him. President Bola Tinubu later intervened in the crisis when he met with the stakeholders in the Rivers crisis in Abuja, at the end of which an 8-point resolution, which was signed by the state governor Siminalayi Fubara and his predecessor and Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike. There has been condemnations to the terms of the peace resolution, but the governor has come out to say that he is ready to abide by the resolutions. It is unclear why Mr. Edison Ehie is resigning from the Assembly at this time. Natives of various local government areas in Ogoniland have announced their support for the resumption of oil production in that area after 30 years of a pause on oil production. This announcement, which occurred in Bori, the council headquarters of Kana local government area, had members of the movement of the survival of Ogoni people, traditional rulers and community groups all in attendance.
It's a new dawn in Ogoni land as various groups from the 4 Ogoni LGAs in River State are meeting in Bori, council headquarters of Kana LGA. In attendance are traditional rulers, elders, religious leaders, and women groups, among others. They say they are welcoming of the resumption of oil production in the region after a 30-year break.
But to resensitize the people, to be able to see the enormous wealth and potentials in their domain and see how we can use them to improve the quality of life. All I need to add here is to tell my people to stay away from self-centeredness.
We are also willing to say the government takes 55% and the operator also takes 45%. The message here today is that the Ogoni people are ready as a people to partner with any of these expertise and engage governments so that development can come, and those who will see there's some percentage of equity that we will use to train our children. We will use to give scholarship to our children. We will use to do good roads here. You can say no electricity.
Others say while they are in support of the resumption in oil production, the communities must play a larger role in the value chain.
We want oil resumption, but Ogoni people should take part of the economy of our own people.
We need a new beginning that will touch the life of every member of Ogoni citizen. Both the women, both the youth, both the girl child, both the men, both the chiefs, everybody. According to the National Oil Spill Detection Response Agency, NOSTRA, there have been over 822 different oil spills between 2020 and 2021 in the region. And in 2021, a federal high court in Abuja ordered Shell to pay 45 billion naira to the people of Ogoni as compensation for multiple oil spills. It, however, remains to be seen how this new development will play out in the region. Charles, Upper Room, Channels Television News.
The much talked about 50% slash in transportation fares directed by the federal government seems to have finally taken effect in Lagos. A visit to Jibo, a major transport hub in the metropolis, shows that although not all travelers are benefiting from the palliative, some of them, using the approved transport companies, affirmed that they now pay half of their fares.
The last time I traveled, I think saying Chisco, I paid 17,000 naira to Lagos. Now, 30,000 naira.
That was on December the 23rd, but now there's a significant turn of events as the promised 50% transportation waiver by the federal government for the Yuletide now appears to be taking effect. Channels Television had earlier reported that travelers experienced no reduction in fares, but a recent visit to Jibo, one of the busiest transport hubs in Lagos, shows few travelers trying to make last-minute efforts to catch a ride. They say they're starting to notice the reduction as they now pay half of their fares.
Yesterday I came here to verify. They said that there is a discount in transport. So I asked, they said it's 20,000. So I was very happy, so I paid.
Anywhere that they are not doing it, let them complain to the government so that they will know that they are not doing it. So they will take collection, not that we are reporting it. They will have to amend themselves so that everybody will benefit from that.
Some travelers are appealing to the government to focus on moving the economy in a positive direction.
The way things are going high, like other years, we used to buy rice of 20,000. Let me just say 20,000, 30. But now it's 60,000. So, which is on the high side.
Other challenges are still there that the government can also assist the masses on in terms of food items. Electricity, power supply, water supply, and the rest of them.
While this year's Christmas and New Year's festivities may have been affected by the economic downturn in the country, the implementation of the transportation waiver will be making holiday travel a bit more affordable for many this period.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Vice President Kashim Shatima urges Nigerians to embrace peaceful coexistence to catalyze development across the country. Please join us again. Welcome back. Former President of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, has called on law enforcement agencies in the country to intensify their efforts to end the menace of drug trafficking and distribution. He's also asking the federal government to address critical societal issues such as poverty and lack of opportunities, which he described as underlying causes of drug abuse and addiction. Former President Buhari was a special guest of honor at the maiden annual dialogue organized by the Kaduna State Consultative Forum, held at the Presidential Banquet Hall of the General Muhammadu Buhari Government House in the state.
The members we have heard paint a bleak picture of how drug abuse is affecting our state. However, despite the challenges, we must approach these challenges with resolve. We must defeat this menace to our society. A nation's greatness is measured by how it safeguards its people. Our youth represent our valuable asset, and protecting their well-being is crucial for our nation's future. We can't afford to watch as drug abuse dismantles their potential and the country's future. I urge all of us to unite and act decisively against drug abuse in Kaduna State. We must not turn away from this self-inflicted suffering of our youth. We need to confront this issue collectively with determination and resolve. Our youth, you are the future administrators of the state. Your potential is immense, but it cannot be realized if too many of you succumb to drug addiction. Believe in yourselves, your abilities, and your future.
In Kaduna State, Governor Uba Sani is assuring the people of southern Kaduna that their security, welfare and development remain topmost for his administration. The governor gave the assurance at the closing ceremony of the maiden Southern Kaduna Cultural Festival in Kafanchan, Jama'a local government area of Kaduna State. He also makes a case for peaceful coexistence among the various ethnic groups in the region.
The gradual return of peace to southern Kaduna calls for celebration, and the people are rolling out the drums at the maiden cultural festival. Southern Kaduna is made up of 12 local government areas and holds 51.2% of the population of Kaduna State, based on the 2006 census population figures. The area covers 26,000 square kilometers and has at least 57 registered ethnic nationalities.
Thank you very much.
The festival features cultural displays by different groups across the area. The cultural event attracted prominent sons and daughters of the region, as well as their well-wishers. They gather in the ancient city of Kafanchan in Jema'a local government area.
Kaduna is a land of peace, it's a land of friendship, and it's a land where there is growth and development.
I'm very honored to be here sitting down next to the executive governor of Kaduna State, who has shown commitment in uniting the entire state. It's the official marking of the fact that peace has come to southern Kaduna.
Thank you very much.
Besides the host, Governor Uba Sani of Kaduna State, Governor Doye Diri of Bayelsa State were also in attendance to enjoy the festivity.
Kaduna State.
The ceremony is holding after years of insecurity in the area, and the festival is considered a step towards uniting the people of southern Kaduna.
This festival is holding an atmosphere of peace and security. It's a tribute to the collective resolve of the good people of Kaduna State to live in peace and work assiduously.
We may be speaking different
languages. We may be very diverse, but there is strength in our diversity. And we should encourage those issues, those things that bring us and bind us together, much more than those that will always divide us.
For Lord Jafar Issa, we also have the
climax of the festival is the presentation of awards to some illustrious indigents of southern Kaduna for their contributions to the development of the area.
Vice President Kashim Shatima is urging Nigerians to embrace peaceful coexistence to catalyze development across the country. The Vice President made the call during the commissioning of the 5-kilometer Masaka-Luvu-Madaki road in Karo local government area of Nasarawa State. Our correspondent Halima Gayam reports.
The stakeholders in Nasarawa State converge on Luvu-Madaki community for the commissioning of the 5-kilometer Luvu-Madaki road of Karo local government area. The state government constructed the road to create access to the federal government's 248 housing unit estate in the area, as well as the proximity of the area to the federal capital territory.
We, the citizens of this community, we're really finding it so difficult in times of rainy season. The road was not just good, but for now, I believe everybody is seeing the good work of our governor. He has really tried.
It was very terrible, very terrible. We found it very difficult to bring other things to support our business places. But now, God so kind, development is at hand.
A commission should and must be established, which is to be FCT Catchment Area Development Commission, which will now seek to create a common profile that will see from first to the contiguous states contributing to it, FCT and federal government as well contributing, so that profile will be utilized to be taking care of the socio-economic problems of communities like Cairo and the rest of all.
Vice President Kashim Shatima is performing the commissioning exercise and is accompanied by the host, Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State, and other government officials. Beyond the completion of the road, the Vice President makes case for peaceful coexistence to engender infrastructural development in the state.
Nasarawa State is a kaleidoscope of colors that represents the Nigerian nation. I will give him greater credit to maintain the delicate peace in Nasarawa State. There can never be peace without development, and there can never be development without peace.
Governor Abdullahi Saleh urges the people to ensure proper maintenance of the road, promising to do more across the state.
We will be responsible for the maintenance of this road because I want to thank the contractor for providing adequate drainages that we have for this road. With the adequate drainages that he has, this road should be able to be there for at least 15 years before we even talk about any maintenance.
The people who have already put the road to use are hoping that the road will unlock the economic potential of the community. Halima Gayam, Channels Television News.
Welcome to Sports News. Former first Vice President of the Niger Football Federation, Sheyi Akumi, says the Super Eagles need the total support of Nigerian football fans and the media to achieve their aim of lifting the Africa Cup of Nations title for the fourth time. Coach Jose Pesero has already unveiled his team that will be participating in Africa's biggest football competition on Friday, and the team will begin camping in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates on Tuesday, January the 2nd, 2024.
Our team is, I think, good. I'm not sure that it's the best at the moment. There's one or two things I think needs to be tweaked, but they're good enough to win. What we need as Nigerians to do is really give them all the support. The team that won the last Nations Cup that we won was not the best as well. There's still one or two things that need to be tweaked. But at the end of the day, the support that we gave that team pushed us over the line. If Nigerians can do the same, and Ivory Coast is not far, let's all be there, support that team. The press, don't put us down, please. Just keep on, because the players read these things. The fans read these things. If I'm a fan and everybody is there saying this team has no hope, why would I want to go there and start shouting my head off? So I think that we all need to face one direction, and we can surprise the world.
Arsenal's English Premier League title challenge has suffered another blow in a 2-1 defeat at Fulham as Tottenham Hotspur beat Bournemouth 3-1 to close in on their North London rivals. The Gunners' high hopes of a first league title in 20 years have been rocked by 2 damaging defeats in just the space of 4 days. Ange Postecoglou's men of Tottenham Hotspur shrugged off a mounting injury crisis to inflict Bournemouth's first defeat in 8 games. Spurs remain 5th on the table, 3 points off the top spot and 1 point behind Arsenal in 4th. Right, let's take you back to our story on the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawale's visit to Plateau State along with the service chiefs. And of course, they visited some of the communities that were affected in last week's attack on the Plateau for an on-the-spot assessment, as well as ensure that adequate security is provided for the possible return of displaced families to their ancestral homes. The minister urged the people to live in peace and harmony with each other.
The Yakubu Gowon Airport in Jos Plateau State has become unusually busy as dignitaries visit the state to identify with the people after the Christmas Eve attack in some communities. A federal government delegation, accompanied by the service chiefs, are in the state to assess the situation and provide necessary intervention to victims of the attacks. The delegation proceeds to Tudunmaza, one of the affected communities, for an interactive session with leaders from the affected communities.
We are here to find solutions and support wherever necessary. And we must support, must protect. That's how we are. And I commend the GOC, the commander, because he put to us and I did mention that he gave his phone number to some of you that you should be contacting him if there is any distress call. Some people have been arrested, but not expected to start reading out names now because investigation is still ongoing. And we are still on the trail of some other people. The desire is that we round up everybody that has been involved in this carnage, in line with Mr. President's directive.
The team also took a tour of damaged houses in the community to assess the level of destruction and possible intervention from the government through the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation.
The materials that would be arriving include food items and, of course, other items like mattress, blankets, toothbrush, of course, toothpaste, soap, and the rest of them, those personal things that they need while they are in the camp. And so we will be working with the, of course, an agency under me, the Refugee Commission, as well as a department in the ministry which is in charge of shelter to see that their shelters in their ancestral homes are repaired and they can go back to their ancestral homes.
Governor Caleb Mufwang later received the delegation at the government house where he raised the issue of illegal mining in the affected areas.
There is an added dimension which the Honorable Minister knows when he was governor, that we are beginning to get worried also about the activities of mining concerns. These are areas we need to look. The mining concerns can be very ruthless and brutal. They do not care about uprooting people from their land of ancestry so that they can have access to this land. Because what I can tell you, yes, what I can tell you is that between Mangu, Bokos, Onyokban, Kilani, Basa, you have some of the biggest mineral deposits in Nigeria.
The state government is hoping that these interventions will improve the livelihood of the people and ensure that they are able to return to their homes as soon as possible.
As the world welcomes a new year, there is but one question on the collective lips of Nigerians in the United Arab Emirates. When will things change for the better? As 2023 paves way for the incoming year, 2024 members of the resident community continue to live out each day, hoping for good news that will turn their fortunes around, especially as they are most impacted by the bans and restrictions placed by the authorities in the UAE. In this report, our correspondent Margrethe II tells us more about the expectations for the new year.
End-of-year celebrations within the Nigerian community as members of the Edo ethnic group gather to mark the end of 2023.
There's always reason to thank God and to be grateful. And that's why we've come together as a community at the end of this year to come celebrate life in itself.
For Nigerians in the UAE, celebrations for the new year come in a mixed bag of disappointment, hope, and uncertainty about their collective fate as residents.
I have nothing to say about our place right now in UAE because I have a lot of friends, a lot of families here that are really passing through challenging time, and we don't know what's for us in the next years to come in this UAE.
Diplomatic ties between both nations have weakened over the past 3 years, and although there has been signal of political will from the Tinubu-led federal government to restore the relationship, Nigerians wait to see what 2024 will unfold.
2023 have ended now, and we are still in this problem. People are going into the new year not knowing what the new year holds for them. It is very sad that Nigerians can be in this type of situation. We are calling on the Nigerian president to please do the needful.
Both nations are vital economic hubs, and for like Franklin Omene, who has built businesses across both regions, diversification is important for staying above the crisis.
It's not just about Nigeria. Yes, we do have a big presence here at once upon a time. And this issue of travel and visa situation is not just on Nigeria. As I find that now it's Mali is involved, Congo is involved, a few other African countries are also involved. Now we need to diversify our portfolio and do things differently. There's a lot of space. We're very smart people, very creative people, very diverse. We've done it in Nigeria. We're survivors, pretty much. So I think with this in mind, I think there are other areas that we can contribute to this economy where our presence will be felt in a positive way.
Expectations are high that 2024 will be a better year, and it is on this hope that the Nigerian Arabian Gulf Chamber of Commerce launched the Nigeria Trade House in Dubai.
Once you have these two critical players having the genuine intention to engage, you know certainly there will be a big trigger very soon going to happen in 2024. And we see it coming. All we're doing is making sure that we are ready for it.
In the meantime, Nigerian residents in the UAE continue to hope against all hope that 2024 will mark the end of their troubles. From Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, Margrethe II for Channels Television News.
Denmark's Queen Margrethe II has announced she will be abdicating the throne on January the 14th, marking 52 years to the day she became queen. The 83-year-old is the longest-serving monarch in Danish history, taking the throne after the death of her father, King Frederik, in 1972. There will be no formal crowning ceremony for the 55-year-old Crown Prince Frederik, who will be ascending the throne as king. Queen Margrethe is a popular figure in Denmark, and many Danes had expected her to remain on the throne until her death. The U.S. Navy has destroyed Houti small boats whose crew attempted to board a container ship in the Red Sea. 4 vessels from Houthi-controlled areas in Yemen fired upon the Maersk Hangzhou and got within meters of the ship. That's according to the U.S. military. Helicopters from nearby U.S. warships responded to a distress call and after being fired upon, sank 3 boats in self-defense. The crews were killed and the 4th boat fled the area. Houti forces have been attacking ships in the Red Sea since November, launching more than 100 drone and missile attacks on vessels passing through the vital shipping lane. President Felix Tshisekedi has been declared the winner of Democratic Republic of Congo's election. Electoral officials say Tshisekedi won about 73% of the vote, while his nearest challenger, Moise Katumbi, got 18%. The December the 20th election was marred by widespread logistical problems. It had to be extended to a second day in some parts of the vast country. One observer group noted that about 2/3 of polling stations opened late, while 30% of voting machines did not work on the first day of the vote. And the main news again. Well, countries like Australia, New Zealand and Hong Kong have already welcomed the year 2024 with fireworks. Here in Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu is expected to address the nation tomorrow. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. And on behalf of everyone here, is a happy new year.